So we have a really stacked slate of college basketball this weekend, but one of the games that headlines it for me is Duke and UVA. And so I want to get into that game and I want to analyze that game and talk about it, preview it, give some predictions. And so we're going to dive straight in and we're just going to start off with UVA. So Virginia enters this game winners of their last 9 games, including a dominant 29-point win on Tuesday against NC State. And what makes that win so big for Virginia is a lot of the games that they've played recently have come in tight situations, in close games, regardless of the quality of their opponent. And getting a win like that is just humongous in terms of whether you're thinking of whether you believe in this team, just confidence for this team, and just belief in whether you think that they can go down to Duke and get a win. It should make people buy into them a little bit more because that is a solid NC State team that is trying to get in the tournament, that is on the bubble. But anyway, 6 quad one wins as well. And just a general scouting report. So it's a 9-man rotation. No one plays more than 28 minutes. Only person who plays that 28.2 minutes is Devin Tillis, just because he's the primary ball handler, primary leader at guard out on the floor. They could score at all 3 levels, average more than 80 points a game, which is a ridiculous contrast from the Tony Bennett ball style of play, the pack line defense, very slow pace, very few possessions, and just not high volume. If you got to 60 points, you normally won a game, but now, it's just different in Charlottesville for Virginia now, and it's working. 25-3, obviously, and I don't think that they've had this many 80-point games in 25 years. So just as a guy who's been used to watching this team play my whole life, this is a complete difference. But if it's winning basketball games, it's winning basketball games. And another thing is, too, owning the glass. Last couple years of Tony Bennett, part of what, and with Ron Sanchez in the interim year, is one of the struggles was lack of size, lack of a true center, you could say. And just this has now become the best rebounding team in the ACC. We'll get into a couple of the guys later, but you look at Johan Grunlow, you look at Tester Ritter, you look at Ugana Onyenso. This team has size. And one of that thing is with owning the glass, but that's also with shot blocking. This is they had 12 shot blocks against NC State, just between Grunlow and Onyenso. They both are second and third in the ACC in blocks per game. What makes that extra impressive is, we talked about it a second ago, they don't play a significant minute share as important as they are to the team. Onyenso plays 18 minutes. Grunlow plays 21.8, and they both are averaging 2.3 and 2.4 blocks a game, which is second and third in the ACC. And so just the shot blocking and just the defense overall, the UVA team is giving up a lot more points, but defensively they are still one of the best teams in the ACC, and that has really been shored up more recently. And that is what is been helping them win some of these games. Is obviously you can look at how many points that they've given up compared to Tony Bennett. Obviously, Tony Bennett had the best and was the premier defensive team in the country in his time. But the difference is now is playing more possessions, playing faster paced, and playing a lot more high volume offense. It's just going to give up more points. But the defense obviously isn't as good. Of course, it's hard to be that good, but it has been really, really good. And one of the things that's been kind of overlooked a little bit. So who Virginia has been playing with is starters have typically been Dallin Hall, Malik Thomas, Sam Lewis, Tester Ritter, and Johan Grunlow. But one of the things that you have to, and Tester Ritter has been the premier guy, 16 points a game, but one of the things you have to look at the most with Virginia is the bench presence. One of the best benches in the ACC. Chance Mallory is what I believe the best player to not have started a game in the ACC this season. He's averaging double figures for UVA. He's been just a spark offensively. Has just been an all-around just beneficial player for UVA, choosing Virginia's Charlottesville guy out of stab, and just has been really good for Virginia in just his freshman year. Jakari White has caught fire again after his injury, 46.8% from 3 on the season, and he's just been shooting lights out lately, and that's going to be needed down in Cameron. Hugo Onyenso, we talked about him with the block shots. He's probably the most productive defensive player on the team, inside at least. And just with his minutes that he's given, he does really, really well on that end of the floor. And he's been just a productive player for Virginia off the bench. And then you also have Devin Tillis, who's been Tester Ritter's main substitute. He's had some injury issues throughout the season, but just another solid option off the bench. But you particularly look at Chance Mallory and Jakari White, who are just sparks. Mallory's ability to run the offense and his hustle plays, and he's a really good rebounder for his size, and just he's really shifty, he's really crafty, he's able to shoot the ball, he's able to drive, he's able to get inside, he's able to do it all. And Jakari White is just a lights out shooter, and he's been doing that over the last few games for Virginia. And so he just particularly has turned a corner after his injury, gotten used to that, whatever. But I mean, just you look at Malik Thomas as well. You look at Sam Lewis. This team has just been able to really, really shoot the basketball. Its offensive rebounding has been very good, and that's also what has made them such a lethal threat from three. And just overall the bench presence, really good size, really good rebounding ability on both ends, 3-point shooting everywhere, and just this high-powered offense while also coupling it, especially lately, with really good defense that has powered them to this potentially one of the premier teams in college basketball at the right time heading into March. So that's for Virginia. Other half for Duke is, I mean, they enter as the best team in the nation. They proved that after the Michigan game. There's just really no question about it right now. 12-2 quad 1 record, no losses quad 2 through 4, just at the Michigan win, as I just mentioned, top the ACC, and really they're the top overall team in the country. They're definitely the best team right now, and there's no question about it. So with them, they got 8 guys who play solid to significant minutes, but in moments they will rely more heavily on star players, they will lean on players more than others in tight games, in significant moments, unlike UVA has. And they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. Number 3 in scoring defense, 62.9 points per game allowed. Also an elite rebounding team. But one of the main things for me with them is the playmaking ability that they have, their driving kick style of offense, and just overall the efficiency that they play with. They're just one of the most efficient offenses in the country. They shoot 50% from the field. And who is that run through? That is obviously run through Cameron Boozer. There's only so much you could say about him. 22.7 points per game, 10 rebounds a game, shooting 58%, 3-level scorer. Obviously, he probably has the most complete offensive game in the entire country. And just everything really goes through him. And just their playmaking ability, their just the style of offense, pick and roll, drive and kick, willingness to shoot the basketball. They don't shoot the 3-point as high of a clip as UVA does, but they still do it well enough, obviously, to win. They're number 1 in the country, and just this offense really leans on Cam Boozer. But you got a couple other guys. You look at Isaiah Evans, who's averaging 14 points per game. His stats and percentages have dipped a little bit if you look at him compared to his freshman season, but he's still been a very important and instrumental piece to this team alongside Cam Boozer. And then Patrick Gumba, who's, I believe I'm saying that right, he's averaging double figures as well. He's their inside presence, a secondary scorer if they need him. And just overall, like I said, this team, they score at a really efficient rate. They rebound the ball really well and have one of the best defenses in the country. And, so you listen to what I just said there, defense, rebounding, and scoring the basketball at a really, really efficient rate. They do it, again, it's a little bit different. UVA shoots more threes, I think, than Duke does. UVA shoots the 3 ball better than Duke does, but Duke is able to get it done in other areas and in areas at a more efficient rate in some cases than Virginia does. So just overall, they might do it in a little bit different fashion at times and run the offense in a different way, but they score at a very, very high rate as well. And so I think with all that in mind, with that being said, you hear those similarities. Scoring the basketball, I mean, if I omitted it, we'll go over it again one more time here, is just defense, rebounding, scoring, and just 2 highly efficient offenses, 2 offenses that have lethal weapons everywhere and in different ways. Obviously it's okay. One-dimensional is the wrong way to say it because Duke's offense obviously isn't one-dimensional. What I mean to say is theirs is run more through one player than UVA's is. UVA obviously is test reader averaging 16 points per game, but UVA has more guys that score the basketball than Duke does. And again, just to clarify that, I'm not saying that Duke is one-dimensional by any means. I'm just saying Cam Boozer is here, other guys are here and scattered down here. UVA's got guys that are below Cam Boozer, but many guys, 4 or 5 guys that do it, if that makes sense. So just anyways, point is the similarities of these teams, offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency, just the way they play, the way Duke likes to attack Virginia, defends that at a really high rate, the way Virginia likes to shoot the ball. Duke has done a good job of that. And just I think that this as all the making, just what's on the line for Virginia, just seeding. I think if Virginia wins this game, they surpass the 2 seed, they go straight into a 2 seed. And if they handle business against Wake and Virginia Tech, they're a lock for a 2 seed. Lose in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament doesn't matter. That has to lock them in at a 2 seed. So that's what's riding on this. Obviously, what's riding on it for both teams is ACC regular season champs. But just the similarities that these two teams, they like to play in similar ways. They do things well similarly. They do similar things well. And so that's what makes it for me, obviously, other than the stakes, it's just so fun. And like 2 best teams in the ACC by far makes sense that this is for the regular season title. So we talk about the rebounding, 2 best rebounding teams in the conference. Second chance shots for Virginia is going to be big. But I think for me, what I look at is Virginia's been red hot from 3 lately, and they've done that at a really good rate for most of the year. But the thing is, they've had spurts where they get cold sometimes. But I think the 3 ball, particularly through Jakari White, Malik Thomas, just really everyone who could shoot on that UVA team, whether it's Sam Lewis, DeRitter, Chance Mallory, all these guys, Jakari White, Thomas, like, it's going to have to be going down. It's going to have to be going down as well as it has been all season. And just the offense, so that's number one. That's a Virginia-specific thing, is keeping up offensively. I have full confidence that they will be able to, but that's crucial. And then just the rebounding. Whoever can win the rebounding battles is just whoever can eliminate those second chance opportunities, because that's part of what has made these offenses so good, is second chance opportunities, just making life hell on the glass. And just they've made their names that way throughout the entire season. So it's going to be rebounding. It's going to be 3-point shooting. And it's ultimately been the Cam Boozer show for Duke. So it's going to be how he plays. I mean, it's pretty hard to think he's not going to have a good game, but that's going to be crucial, just limiting him in any way possible if you're Virginia. And just the late game execution, I really anticipate this being a tight game. UVA's done a really good job this season in late game situations. Duke's just been able to pound people. And so I think that both these teams are seasoned well enough for late game battles, late game situations, but it's going to come down to rebounding coupled with the offense, how Cam Boozer's able to perform, and just I just think that there's so many things that you could talk about just because of how similar these two teams are. Just any of those things that I talked about, just think who can do it better than the other. But just emphasizing the rebounding, the shooting ability for Virginia needing to stay hot if they want to go down to Cameron and get a win. So in terms of prediction, I think you have to anticipate this being a tight game. It's 10.5 for Duke last time I saw it. I do think that is disrespectful to UVA. So I'm going to take the plus 10.5 and just anticipate a really, really good basketball game. And I really think that it's a game that UVA might not be getting as much credit as they deserve, and just what's on the line is insane, is monumental, and just it's going to be a really, really fun basketball game to watch. And so Duke, UVA, game of the weekend for me. Really looking forward to it. Obviously, as a fan, this is just still ACC game of the year potential, in my opinion.